Deeper now into mass shootings, we're bringing in a legal expert to explain protections for patrons. Attorney Sean Domnick, president-elect of the American Association for Justice, is currently litigating the high-profile case of the toddler and the grandmother who were both shot in a Publix grocery store in South Florida. Sean, thank you so much, first of all, for being here with us.
Thanks for having me.
So we talk about consumer protections when we're going to a place where we assume we will be safe, like a mall, an outlet mall, an outdoor mall, like the people who were in Allen were at. So is it reasonable to assume businesses can prevent this from happening, and what steps really can they take to protect customers?
Well, there's no doubt that there are steps that can be taken to protect customers and workers way more than is being done right now. At this moment, it's an illusion of safety that they're providing. What we know is when people want to do harm, they're looking for a couple of things. They're looking for places where a lot of people gather, and they're looking for places where they can get the bad thing done without interruption. And malls like the one in Allen provide the perfect opportunity to do that. Little security that is there, and a lot of people that are gathering. So what is it that they can do? One is controlled entrances. The other is with security guards that are there. There are other tools. There's a reason that we don't see shootings at football stadiums and museums, because what do they have there? They have controlled entrances, they have security, and they also using technology today that allows them to detect people who are carrying weapons into a place without disturbing the flow. And these places are happy to spend a lot of money on technology so that they can save money, but they're not investing in technology so that they can save lives.
And you talk about those investments to make sure that the people who come into their establishment make sure that they are protected. How can businesses maintain that? Because obviously that is going to take a lot of money. And so is that sustainable? Are there other solutions that businesses can look at?
I think that it is sustainable right now. There are other things that businesses can do depending on the size of the business and depending on the volume. What we're seeing, though, is that these folks who want to kill people are looking for places where lots of people gather. So it's the bigger places who have more resources that are able to take the bigger steps to protect the people. So you can, with limited cost, do things like limit the pathway that people have to come into places. You can make sure that there are lights that are available. You can make sure that you have trained your people to be on the lookout for people who look suspicious. There are many things that can be done, but at the end of the day, the best way to protect people is to have uniform security.
Okay, Sean Domnick, as always, thank you so much for your legal expertise as it relates to, unfortunately, the mass shootings that we have just seen.